Hi, and welcome to our next systems of equation video. In these last couple of videos, we're going to talk about using the discriminant to solve some problems. Now, if you're watching these last couple of videos, it's probably because you are keen to have a go at the excellence requirement of this assessment. All right, let's talk very quickly once more about this thing. This is called the quadratic formula. It is the formula inside the box, x equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c, all divided by 2 times a. Now the quadratic formula is a formula that is used to find all, when I say all, I mean both solutions to a quadratic equation. This part of the quadratic formula is called the discriminant. The discriminant is b squared minus 4 times a times c. And it is this part of the quadratic formula that can help us to determine what type of solutions exist. So here's an example from one of our previous videos. In this example, notice that we have two solutions, x1 and x2, and both of them are real numbers. x1 is equal to 2.196 and x2 is equal to negative 8.196. They're both real numbers. So we say two real solutions, two real roots. Now that's because we end up with a discriminant that's positive, 108, which is a positive number. And therefore, we can take our first solution and go negative 6 plus the square root of 108 divided by 2. And our second solution would be negative 6 minus the square root of 108 divided by 2. So when the discriminant is positive, we get two real solutions. Here's another example that we've looked at in one of our previous videos. And in this example here, notice the discriminant is 0. So when we take the square root of 0, square root of 0 is 0. So that's why we end up with repeated solutions, because for our first solution, we're going to go negative 6 plus 0 divided by 2. And our second solution, negative 6 minus 0, all divided by 2, which gives us the same value, because plusing 0 and minusing 0 is not going to change things. Right, here's another example from one of our videos. And in this example, we cannot find a solution because the discriminant is negative. When we try and take the square root of a negative number, we can't find it because a positive times a positive is a positive and a negative times a negative is a positive. So we can't find one number times by itself to get a negative number. So here are the three scenarios that we can come across when solving a quadratic equation. It's all based on what's going on with this discriminant. In the first scenario, we end up with a discriminant that's positive, greater than 0, and that gives us two real solutions, or roots. Roots is a very old-fashioned word for solutions. In our second scenario, the discriminant is exactly 0, and when you square root 0, you get 0, so you're plusing 0 and minusing 0, so we end up with two repeated solutions, or two repeated roots. And in our third scenario, when the discriminant is less than 0 or negative, that's the scenario when we have no real solutions or no real roots because we can't find the square root of a negative number. Now, let's go back through those once more, but apply it to what's going on with the systems of equation topic. So in this topic, we're trying to figure out when two systems, two graphs, when they intersect. So our first scenario is when we have a positive discriminant, two real solutions or two real roots, and that's when the two systems will intersect twice. In our second scenario, our discriminant is 0 and we have two repeated solutions or two repeated roots, and that's when our systems intersect only once because it's a repeated solution. And our final scenario is when our discriminant is less than 0 or negative discriminant, and that's when we have no real solutions or roots and our two systems do not intersect with each other. Right, that's all for this video. So move on and start watching the next couple to solve a few problems with this idea. Thanks very much for watching.